Welcome everyone to Whimsy Woven Stories. Here, we explore gripping tales of real-life twists. Join our storytelling community.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Before we dive into today's story, I want to ask you something important. What would you do if your partner asked you to step into a lifestyle you never imagined for yourself? As you listen, think about how you might handle the situation and share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's begin the story. I sat there, staring at nothing. You might wonder why. I was just requested to be a cuckold for a week by my wife Jane. My name is Mike, and I was aware of the answer before Jane asked, but I had hoped she wasn't that naive. I needed to regain my breath, but I wanted to answer calmly first. You see, I have a history of being an idiot. I know I'm one, and I wear the title with honor. This all started about a week ago when we were at my sister's barbecue. There were 15 couples there, and the wine and beer were flowing freely. Good friends, good food, and a smashing good time. Then someone yelled out, "Let's play truth or dare." Our host, my sister Barbara, started off the game by asking her husband Tim to perform a dare. She asked him to massage Karen's feet. Karen's husband Jeff just laughed and told him to wash his hands afterwards, as she had very hard and bad feet. As Tim was rubbing them, Barbara asked Karen how the cuckolding was going. A few of the husbands, including me, looked like someone spat in our beers. Then Jeff messed up my head even more by answering. He said with no bitterness, "Karen has 3 lovers now and is looking for more." Now that I was being myself, I wanted to ask Jeff, "What the hell is wrong with you?" and slap him on the side of the head. But my wife's glance could melt Alaskan ice, and I was a visitor. I took another beer and said nothing. Damn, where is Captain Morgan when you need him? Shit, I thought, listening to this was going to be hard. As I said, I am an idiot, but I sat like a good little hubby and said nothing. After about 10 minutes in Jeff's recounting of how hot it was to see Karen being DP'd, I got up and headed for the John. I was in there for about 20 minutes talking to myself. I had to speak softly because any louder and people would think I was a nutcase. After I calmed down a bit, I opened the bathroom door, and there stood Barbara with her hands on her hips, looking at me like I ruined her barbecue. I said, "What's up, sis?" Barbara, in her normal gets on my nerves fashion, said, "How in the hell can you be so mean?" Me, mean, what the hell are you talking about? I haven't done or said anything. I promised Jane I would be a good boy and I have been. Barbara then proceeded to tell me that Jeff was showing his love for Karen by allowing her to do this. When Karen finished exploring, she explained that Karen and Jeff would be a stronger couple. I just had to ask, how is screwing other men going to make a couple stronger? Barbara was put back by the way I said it. I guess since I am older, I should understand what women want. Hell, I didn't even know what my freaking wife wanted, and I have been married to her for 11 years. Mike, you need to open your mind to new things, said Barbara. Once again, I just had to ask, has Tim opened up his mind to Karen and Jeff's new idea of marriage? Barbara went on to tell me what was expected of a husband who had cheated. I had to ask the same question twice because she spoke so passionately. Is your husband Tim open to this? I inquired once more. I haven't asked him yet. I wanted Jeff to spring it on the husbands first. For the first time in my life, I want to slap the shit out my sister. Barbara, you have got to be out of your mind. If you ask Tim and he agrees, I'll watch the kids for you while you on your man-hunting trips. I'll even wash your car, but I won't leave you alone with my wife ever again. With that, I turned and headed back to the barbecue. Jeff was talking to Karen, Jane, and a few other wives. The guys were by the grill, wait for me to come back. Tim was the first to ask what I thought of the whole thing. I said, "Tim, if Jane tries that shit, I'll be out the door before you can scratch your left nut. I will not put up with a bitch. And if I find out she cheated, was cheating, or planned on cheating, I will divorce her before the jizz from her lover has dried. I don't care or even want to know what Jeff is thinking, it's his life. If he wants to swing or whatever else, that's his choice, but it's not for me. After my short outburst, Jane walked up and said it was time to go. We said goodnight to everyone and headed out. We live about 45 minutes from my sister, so I was in for a long drive. Right off the bat, Jane said, "You shouldn't judge a lifestyle until you try it." At that point, I had to ask myself, did I want to start a fight now or after I got some? Like I said, I'm an idiot, so I chose to shut up until I got some loving. The whole drive home, Jane talked about Jeff this and Jeff that. I wanted to tell her, if you keep talking about Jeff, then you can marry him. As we pulled up to the house, Jane started rubbing my leg. Yeah, here comes the real make-out. And if I'm lucky, I'll get both again in the morning. Needless to say, it was a good night. Then she pulled out the big guns. Jane got intimate with me for 7 days continuously, at least twice a day. But on the 8th day, the campaign began. "Mike, can I talk to you without you getting mad?" I said, "Sweetie, after the week you just gave me, we can talk about anything and I will even listen." She looked a little worried, but started with the usual bullshit. "Mike, you know I love you, right? I love you more and more each day, but I think we need to spice up our romance." Now me, being me, the little bullshit-o-meter in my head started going into overdrive. "Now Mike, don't say anything till I finish," said Jane. "You never let me get my side out before you say no." I said, "Honey, you're right. I'll let you finish, and then I'll say no." Then Jane started about how if I loved her, if I truly loved her, then I would become a cuckold for a week. She said it and looked at me with those big puppy dog eyes, lips pushed out, and that sad little girl expression. It just broke my heart, not. I said, "Jane, I truly love you and I would do anything for you. I want to make you happy. I live to be with you, to grow old with you, and have kids with you. By the only thing I can say to this is, hell no, you moron. If you ever ask me some shit like that again, I'll burn the house down and move to Canada. If you want a cuckold, buy a bird." That being said, I got up and went out. I stopped by Angel's, my favorite sports bar. The bartender's name is Kevin, and he can make one hell of a Long Island iced tea. "Kevin, my boy, start me a tab. I want a beer, a Long Island, and keep them coming." While I sat there drinking away my pain, guess who walked in? Jeff, and followed by Tim. They took the stools on both sides of me and looked at me like I'd passed gas or something. "Mike," said Jeff, "what in the hell is the matter with you? You almost screwed up the barbecue. We have been planning this shit for weeks." I must have looked confused because Tim just patted me on the back and said, "Just sit back and listen. Mike, Tim and I have been filming Karen with all 3 guys she has slept with. I played along so it wouldn't have to pay out so much in the divorce. My lawyer said, play along and get all the evidence that you need. You see, in Texas, it still matters if the spouse cheated or not. What Karen doesn't know is I found out that her and her lover were going to try and pull me into a threesome. That way, it would look like I agreed to her fooling around. Not happening, but if I were cheated, then her lover wouldn't let me get intimate with her. Instead, she is being served as we speak. She can have the house, car, checking accounts and all. I just had to ask, why give that witch anything? She slept around behind your back and in front of you. Why pay a cheating woman? Since you ask, said Jeff with an evil grin on his face, the house has a second and third mortgage and the bank is about to foreclose on it. The car is leased and I haven't paid a bill in 7 months. My paychecks are being deposited into my mom's account. As far as my employer knows, I'm taking care of my mom. My mom has been putting the money in her offshore account. You know, my mom always said she was a woman with no dignity. I should have listened. The beer flowed once more and I had to take a cab home. I believe I arrived home at 3 in the morning. I'm not positive, but since I only made it to the flower bed, it didn't really matter. When Jane went to investigate after hearing some noises, she saw me dozing off among her roses. That was, once I got back to the real world, another 30-minute altercation. The next thing I knew, a bucket of water was poured on me and my dog was licking my face. What an evil woman dousing my favorite chair. I asked her, "Who put the stick up your ass?" Jane looked at me and asked, "Mike, did you know? Did you know?" "What in the hell are you talking about?" "Karen was served with divorce papers and an eviction notice last night." I responded with, "Good for her. Now she can have whomever she wants." "So you did know," said Jane. "Hell no. I didn't know shit till I ran into Jeff and Tim last night," I said. "So what's the slut gonna do now?" I asked. Jane just looked at me. I'd seen that look before. "Mike, she needs a place to stay for a week or so," said Jane. Please, Mike, she needs help. She has lost a lot." I said, "Okay, but I don't know how she and Spike are both going to fit in the damn dog house." "Mike, that isn't funny." "She needs our help," said Jane. I mumbled under my breath. "She needs a doctor to sew her legs closed." Ultimately, I gave in and we let Karen use the spare room. I asked Jeff first to see if it was okay. Jeff said he didn't care where the tramp went. She only made it through the first week. One night when Karen and Jane were sitting on the patio drinking wine, Karen asked Jane if she could sleep with me for one night because she needed sex. The next thing I heard was glass breaking and screaming. Then Jane came in the house yelling, "Mike, get this witch out of my damn house." She turned her fury towards Karen. "I can't believe I let you stay here. Get your shit together and get the hell out. I mean now." After some really decent wooing later that evening, I found something really fascinating. The majority of women don't appear to mind sharing a man with another woman, but they don't seem to like sharing their men. Think for yourself. What's your opinion about OP?
Thanks for listening. Share your opinion in comment section and also do like and subscribe to the channel.